One of the great things about this event was we were able to draw people's awareness to how art can form a very important social function. I mean, we definitely had some people very familiar with art, but we also had people who had never done any art work before, and so it is a really worthwhile experience to show them the practical role art can fulfill. That art is not just something abstract that is hung on a wall. This is something you participate in. This is something important. This is something that can actively contribute to all these issues we're working on.
The idea has been developed for a long time ago. I saw the need, I think, of the communities that I went to value the artists that they had.
When I first became involved in the project, Maya was already working on it. She had done several previous events kind of like this before. And it seemed like a really awesome way to involve both artists and the community. It seemed like this sort of event and Maya's previous events were fantastic ways where art could both directly involve itself in the community and actually reach out and participate in this other world.
It's difficult, it's complex depending on the people that you work with and depending on the community that you work with. That also shapes the final project.
And that's one of the amazing things about art. I mean, any dedicated pursuit, but especially art, is that you can have people from very different kind of areas of their lives. I mean, we had people who grew up in Ramallah, we had people who in Tel Aviv, and we had people who grew up in Munich. And it's really interesting to see all these people coming together, people that might not otherwise have a chance to interact in their daily lives, coming together and actively making art and learning this process of making art.
Art is a very natural tool for humans to coexist with the place, with the territory that you are in.
Art is such a valuable tool for both communication and also for unification. I mean, we did a really amazing group art project together, and it was really cool, really great seeing all these people work together on this one art. And the wonderful thing was they're working together not just on this grand piece of art, but they're also working together on this grand piece of art which was trying to communicate an environmental message through environmental means. So they're working with recycled materials, they're working to communicate environmental message, and they're coming from diverse backgrounds together. So in this way, art is really a concrete tool for all the things that people here are working for.
It's very important. I think it's very important to work with the community. When I was the last day, or even the first day, I was like, yes, this is worth it. People were playing, people were outside of their routines, learning new things about themselves, and that's worth it.
One really good thing about the way we structured the event, I think, was that we got artists from so many different mediums. We had visual artists, we had movement artists, dancers, we had sculpture, we had music, and these kind of helped us reach out to people who, maybe visual art had never spoken to them before, but that's okay. We have all these other mediums. And, in this way, I think it really helped kind of approach the community.
Using music, using the sound that we hear, using the images that we see, it is in everything. And I think that if we have that awareness that it is in everything in our everyday life, we will be more aware of what manipulates us and what can help us achieve objectives, or what can make us improve our living together. Celine did a workshop, and she has another approach to this awareness, not only awareness of the different cultures that coexist here and try to bring them together, but this awareness of your body and using your body as an instrument.
She works in these traditional dance forms. She's based in London. She's grew up from Israel, so she is a perfect example of how this place is such a unique location that truly combines people of many different backgrounds, and hopefully can be a place that includes many of the backgrounds that have traditionally not been a part of that. Celine is a perfect example of how Israel is that melting pot. Parents were, doing Celine's workshop, and so it was awesome to have the kids all come over and learn recycled art and learn these, plastic bottles are not just items of trash; they're actually implements that can be used creatively to express themselves. Kids start off as kind of, this, tabula rasa. It's only once they get older where they really learn the differences. So a kid might grow up and say, this person, has an observable difference from me, but not actually regard them as an other. And I think it's one of the wonderful things about having an event like this, especially for kids, is that they can see both how these things kind of link together and learn from an early age that this person doesn't have to be different from them. They can be the same, and they can work together to create something, especially something that protects something that these kids both share, which is the environment. Fire dancing was a really exciting part of the event. It was beautiful. It was right at night, and we had a really great turnout. I think people really enjoyed themselves. Lots of people brought their kids. It was a really awesome event. Towards the end, some of the kids picked up the glow sticks we put out, and were dancing with those. And it was really wonderful to see kind of this community all participate in this really fun event, both as audience members, and then also towards the end as part of the performance itself. I love Marlon's art. I think it's it really communicates some of the feelings I think people can have here. And the fact that it's done with recycled materials is just, for me, it communicated a very clear sense of, I think, isolation. And I think this is really interesting to do with recycled materials and also in this place. And I think it spoke to the feelings that can emerge when we're not working towards unity and we're not working towards peace building, when we are trapped in these tiny insular bubbles and communities.
I love music very much, and I love peace very much. And I found out many years ago, and I think it's something that known to everyone, that music and peace are like going together all the time.
One of the wonderful things about Yair is that he not only his music not only expresses this, but he actually lives this, and his whole life is kind of a perfect example how art can serve to unify things that might otherwise be divided. I mean, music is I think is one of those art forms that really can reach out to people and speak a very universal language. So when you have this kind of universal language and you're mixing with these different cultural elements, I think it drives home the point of what we were trying to accomplish here.
He himself, he mixes different cultures. He's from Iraqi descendant, but he's Israeli, and he plays the oud, which is an Arabic instrument, and he shared his stories, and it brought a lot of power to his music. I think that was a very important element of our event.
Towards the end, we had set up the art is kind of the art they did is kind of a display, kind of just for people to look at. But then it was really awesome because we also have materials, and people started saying, well, I want to work on my painting more. And I said, we have materials there, so they started working on it. And then we had a whole bunch of other people who kind of became involved. And so I think it was really awesome that we had both this, these structured events, but then towards the end, we had this, organic event. And so this was really rewarding to see this kind of natural progression where we taught these skills, and then now they're kind of organically taking off, and people are now, they have these skills, now they're passing them on, and they're actually using them, and they're excited to be using them.
We created an environment where people could listen to it themselves, I think, through the workshops, through the different workshops, through dancing and through playing with paints and with painting and playing with recycled materials. So I hope that contribute to their critical thinking.
This event and events like this definitely have a role to play, and I think they're a fantastic way of kind of bridging these divides. So they are so deeply entrenched in things here, and I think events like this can serve a very, very important part in making this happen. And so we'd really like to kind of make this work both ways, and so we could potentially have another event which would be focused perhaps in Jordan, which would serve to hopefully also bring people from all over the region together, but do so in a way where we involve a different group of people and kind of pushing different boundaries.